Hey family.
Hi guys.
It's Tuesday, so it's time for another short tip. This week's short tip is to pay attention to the cues.
Pay attention to the cues.
What are we talking about?
So remember that communication is not always verbal, right?
Right?
Sometimes when we communicate with people, and in particular our spouses, it's not always verbal. I'll give you an example. Last week, Ollie came to me. I was sitting on the couch and he came to me, and you don't mind me saying.
I know. Go ahead.
So he came over to me and he laid his head on my lap. And if I was really paying attention to these cues, these nonverbal cues, I would have realized, he needed a little bit of affection. Maybe something was on his mind, but it kind of went over my head, pretty much. He laid there, but I didn't ask him, "Are you okay?" I didn't rub his back. I didn't rub his head. He just laid there, and I think I was on my phone. Totally missed the cue, right? So you needed some affection at that time, and I totally missed it. So remember that communication is not always verbal. Your spouse will give you cues like what Ollie did, or sometimes, wives, we go around slamming doors or huffing and puffing or stomping or banging pots and pans because we're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
We're upset about something, but we're not talking about it. With guys, in this situation, with what happened with you, sometimes males, it's a little difficult for males to become vulnerable and say, I need some affection or something's on my mind. And so laying on my lap was a signal for me, a cue for me, and I totally missed it. But males are like that, right?
Sometimes it's, how we are, guys, and don't leave me out. Don't leave me out hanging, okay, on this one. Sometimes it is difficult for us to just go to that vulnerable place.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't want to, but just sometimes I don't know, it's just difficult for us to get to that point. Sometimes we just don't want to talk about it. We just want to be soothed. And I think in that situation, I just needed to be soothed.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to be checking for those verbal cues because, listen, we talk to you all the time, and we say this all the time. Have a conversation.
Nonverbal cues.
Nonverbal cues. Not verbal, which is what I was about to say. We always talk about being verbal and having a conversation, but we don't always talk about the nonverbal stuff. And often the nonverbal stuff speaks a lot louder.
Yeah.
So make sure that you are paying attention to those things and that you are responding accordingly to the cues that you're getting. Mm-hmm. All right?
And then when you take note of the cues, then it's time for a conversation. What's up, babe? Are you okay? What's on your mind? Do we need to talk about anything? How are you feeling? What's going on? I notice you're doing XYZ, but you're not really saying a lot. Do I need to know something? Start a conversation from there if you can.
It's good. I like it. That, as you can see, like most of the tips, comes straight out of our lives.
Yeah.
We're learning and growing, and we hope that you are learning and growing as well.
Yeah.
That's all we have for you today. Pay attention to the cues.
Yeah.
God bless.
God bless.